Live from the studios of Coefficient Media in downtown Jackson, Michigan, today's show is brought to you by the Jackson Workstation and GoToMeeting. Use the code podcast and you can save some money and be really cool. GoToMeeting.
All right, folks, this is the Android App Show, episode number 91. Today we're going to be talking some more about JellyBean. In fact, we have some demonstrations to show you on a phone and tablet here. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Android App Show.
The future of the telephone business is bright and rich with promise for the millions of telephone users like yourselves, whose quick acceptance and ready use of each improvement in telephone service has helped make possible an endless chain of accomplishments. What will it be this time?
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is
All
the
right.
Android App Show.
Yeah, I have to eat some greens because I've been eating so many jelly beans.
Oh,
The sugar hide.
that's
no
weird, man.
return.
That's actually not real.
I know it tastes like
Just kidding, it's
plastic.
real. This whole show is real.
It tastes like plastic and dust
Mm.
and hurt.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. It's a little different. It's a little different show today. We're not going to be actually talking about individual apps.
No, we're
That are
talking
in the
about the
Google
experience around
Experience. Yeah.
the inspiration.
We got a lot to talk about. We have some reviews. We mentioned it a little bit on the last show. We talked about some of the features, some of the butter stuff.
Yeah,
and,
Project Butter, speeding it up and everything.
Mhm.
But we've got a much more in-depth, I try to condense it and include all the good things you need to know in one show.
Yeah.
So before we get to it though,
Oh yeah.
let's talk about the people that are paying the bills today. That's GoToMeeting.com. GoToMeeting, of course, is a collaboration software where you can share a desktop, share your face with your customers, and
HD
create
faces.
a relationship with them that you just can't do over the phone. You can't
Right.
do it with letters. I like holding a letter up to the light and making sure it was signed by a real person. But there's no doubt you're talking to a real person who you're talking to when you're working with your customers, working with your coworkers on GoToMeeting. And as awesome as it is, it does cost money. But I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. And we're going to give you 30 days for free to try it out. So you can convince yourself that it's worth it. Go to GoToMeeting.com, enter the code podcast. You can help out the show, and you can help yourself out, because believe me, once you get hooked on GoToMeeting, it's hard to go back to anything else.
Yep. And not only that, they have an app for, you can use it on your computer. You can collaborate that way. You can use it on the iPad or your Android device. It's really pretty cool that you can kind of do that online collaboration anywhere that you are at. So go to the meeting, go to meeting.com, click on the Try It Now button, and enter the promo code podcast for 30 days for free. Give it a try. So let's get into our little review here today. We're going to be talking about JellyBean.
Yeah, first I want to start on some of the features that phones and tablets have in common before I show you the differentiations and the specializations and everything. So the first thing...
Well, actually, before we get into that, is JellyBean really is that a dessert? Or is that more of a sweet
that's
snack?
interesting, right? It's kind of I don't know if it's I'm going to start calling this the Reagan of operating systems. Call it Android Reagan Smash. So, yeah, I don't know, it's like a sweet, it's not even really a dessert.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
But they've had other things that aren't necessarily desserts, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like honeycombs, but,
Uh-oh.
it's not really, that was never on my radar before it was an operating system.
Jake, you like honeycomb?
Yes,
You gotta do it.
Cereal.
This was before the show.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
Come on, Jake.
All right.
Honeycomb.
Honeycomb. All right. There it is.
You
There
did
we
with
go.
your hands up last time.
Oh,
It was,
wait.
Jazz hands.
All right. I'm done. That's it. I'm spent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the show.
See, we're
Back to the show.
gonna have to make that like a mascot or something of the Jackson Workstation here.
That's
A
right.
giant, get you a honeycomb thing to wear. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll wear it first just so you can wear it too. I wouldn't make you do that. Like I could make you do it.
I mean, honeycomb was a cereal. It doesn't have to be a dessert.
That's
Jelly
pretty good
bean's a
stuff.
delicious snack that is sugary and
That's true.
Jams into your teeth. And
Hmm.
Maybe they're trying to get the the president to switch over to Android instead of using iPads in the White House. I don't know. That's a reach.
That's a bit of a reach.
swag.
So we have
Reagan.
a couple things to show. We wanted to show you a little bit of the interface first, like an actual hands-on video about Google explaining some of the features. So if we could pull that video up, Corey, our wonderful producer, the video guy back there. Corey is pulling up a little video. It's a YouTube video that Google made that explains Google Now, and it is their little way that they're doing their quick
Instead
searching
of
stuff.
having to sift through and organize all the information you need throughout your day, all that information is ready at the exact moment you actually need it. Introducing Google Now. Now with Android, one simple swipe gives you the information that is relevant to you right now. As you leave your house, Google Now is smart enough to check current traffic conditions and has prepared an alternate route for your commute. Google Now is always one step ahead, so you can feel more confident as you navigate your day. When you're at a subway station, Google Now can tell you what trains are next, find you interesting local places to eat. Is there a good Japanese noodle bar nearby? And when you're in a restaurant, your phone already has the best dishes listed for you. Google Now automatically keeps you updated on your favorite sports teams in real time, just in case you were curious about that no-hitter. With the predictive power of Now, you get just what you need to know right when you need it.
Now, if we can, we'll switch over here to the phone device, also known as a phone, and and pull up Google Now. So you can see it's kind of like a basic Google web page with search, with a little microphone there, and then it has these cards here that give you helpful information like upcoming appointments you have, weather. If I click show more cards, it'll come up with my commute to work, how long it's going to take me, what the traffic's like, which is pretty handy, and local businesses that you can check into on Google Plus. Or not just check in, you could call them, you could visit their websites, because if you click on more details, it's going to hop on over someday to the Google Maps app, load up their information, and then there you are. So if I pop back over here though, there's one interesting thing that they've updated from the voice app. You used to have to click stuff, but now you just say Google. When you say Google, it's just supposed to work. Google.
Yes, master.
Yes, master. I see that. Yeah, right. Is it supposed to rain tomorrow? Doom. Come on. It's freaking out on me. Will it rain tomorrow? This happens to us every time. We do, like.
You broke it.
Oh, but look, that came up. It started saying this happens. Whenever we do a demonstration, it always freaks out. But it works right before the show, right? Will it rain tomorrow? Will it rain tomorrow?
Here's the forecast for Jackson.
There we go. Usually it says something else though here. I'm like OCD stuck on this because will it rain tomorrow? See, it's not translating that stuff into words. There it goes.
No, rain is not expected tomorrow in Jackson. The forecast for tomorrow is 95 degrees and mostly sunny.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the good stuff. That's that natural voice, that sounds a lot better than Siri, and you're still getting a lot of the same performance and answers from it. But if you want to see some more examples, of course, we have this link to this video that we just showed you, but we have another video that we can show right now that has over 40 different kinds of examples of things that you can use on Google Now. So we'll show you a couple of those. We'll show you parts of the video, but go ahead and click in the show notes if you want to see more.
The time in Paris, France is 10:28 p.m.
When is sunrise in Tokyo?
4:29 a.m.
What time zone is Amsterdam in?
Amsterdam is in the Central European Time.
When was Canada Day?
Canada Day was on Sunday, July 1st, 2012.
When is Mother's Day in 2014?
Mother's Day is on Sunday, May 11th, 2014.
So yeah, that's pretty much anything that you can put into a Google box, and they give you that short little thing at the top that'll help you out, instead of having to go through all the results. And they've sprinkled in a few other things too. That's what Google Now is as far as the voice searching function. Very powerful, very great, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. The thing that I kind of want to relate this to as well, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but this seems most useful for Google Glass, where you have this viewing interface where it tracks your eyes, and it seems to me like they're trying to work out this system that predicts what you want to know so that you can very easily access that information. And I think what we're seeing here is like the kernel of where Google Glass is going to end up taking us. This is the beginning, I think, of that sort of mobile interface that you can use without touches, and that weirdly anticipates what you want. That's the thing that gets me. I don't know. That could kind of be creepy, I think, after a while. So let's move on to the other big feature that we have here, the notification interface. There's been a huge expansion and change of notifications in Android. I haven't seen anything like this since you could swipe to dismiss single notifications in Ice Cream Sandwich. I mean, really, it's kind of come a long way. So this stuff kind of works with the new APIs that have been exposed to developers. Not everybody is going to have immediate access to these kind of changes because they're not, built into the apps yet. But if I pull down the bar here, this is a reminder that I received for an event that I made. Now, it has the information that you want, to know about it, when it is, where it is, and the description. But it also has a snooze feature and an email guest feature. So, if I'm going to be running late or if I'm almost there, I can click this and it'll automatically email Dave and say, be there in 10 minutes. Go ahead, start without me. Running just a couple minutes late. Sorry, I can't make it. We'll have to reschedule, or, whatever. So, let's see, I'll click on the, sorry, I can't make it. It's going to go in here and send the email right to Dave. Just click send and it's done. It took all those steps out of the middle just from a simple shortcut up here. And you can still snooze it and do other things. But one of the changes they've made now, you notice this is bigger than a standard notification entry. You take 2 fingers and you can swipe that close so that it's just a standard size. 2 fingers, you can expand it right out. But see, if you get another thing like podcasts, which was my reminder for coming here, I don't have a reminder. I don't have like guests and stuff like that, and this is an old entry, so there's nothing really to expand out. But this is a text messaging entry here. So I'm going to go ahead and send myself another text though to show you what's changed with that, because this is pretty big. If you're a user of Google Talk, you're probably a little bit familiar with the interface I'm about to show you, because on Google Talk, when you get new messages from people, they automatically stay in the same sort of grouping. So it keeps the back and forth going. So if somebody sends you a message, you send back a message to them, it'll put that there. And instead of creating a whole new line for a follow-up message you sent, it just puts it right below the message in the same outline box. So if we'll pop over here to the stuff here. Now it shows I have 3 text messages from Dave and everything too. So it lists out all the people that I got them from. I can go in and read Dave's text. I'll leave mine unread there and send another text message back to myself. Just the word just. And we'll see what happens when I get this notification here. So that's a single, yeah, even though it showed the other one as unread. So, and then I'll send do. So somebody sent you a text message and then they had another follow-up to tell you, instead of just changing this to say 2 messages and not letting you read anything, which is exactly what this looks like right now. That's exactly how Android acted before. You could grab 2-finger zone, expand that out, and you see all the text messages that are being sent through from that person. And as Dave demonstrated, when you get another person, then it just condenses this down too and shows you a list of the people that have texted you and what the beginning of the message looks like. So pretty cool stuff. This 2-finger swiping thing, I don't know if I'm 100% on board with it, but for the interface that they've come up with, it's pretty effectual. I just wish they would have come up with something a little bit easier to, I don't know, the 2-finger thing on the phone, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, doesn't seem right. So I guess like one of the last things here I want to talk about are widgets. We covered this before, but I wanted to, show it off a little bit more again, which is chasing widgets around a screen, icons or whatever. This is something that really should have come out as soon as they put widgets in the drawer, and you could pull one out and put it on the desktop. Here we go. They should have had this kind of stuff going on in Ice Cream Sandwich, but this is an awesome improvement. I think it's one of those tweaks that makes the operating system much more easy for non-super techie, super Android people, like we are. Chances are, if you're watching this show, you're a little bit up on Android more than the average bear. So this, I'm excited, how awesome this makes my life. You can only imagine a regular user. So essentially everything has stayed the same for phones and for tablets from Android 4.0 to 4.1. But Google has decided to assign these 7-inch tablets a sort of hybrid phone-tablet interface. Excuse me. Sorry. Rather than a full tablet interface. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's not exactly a phone interface. There are tablet-like modifications to it, but they've stepped back and gone much more in the direction of what they were doing with phones. So let me pull up some of the things to show you on here. So on the tablet, the notification shade stretches clear across the top. You get your time here with the battery and signal strength, and when you get notifications, they build up across the left, just like they do on the phone. But obviously a much wider interface. It used to be they were down here in Ice Cream Sandwich and in Honeycomb, and then these buttons down here on the bottom are centered, and instead of being over here on the left side. I don't like that in this landscape mode. I feel like it's too far to reach for a home button, especially when the notification shade's over here on the left. So they've done like a similar dimming thing when you pull it down, but it doesn't, it doesn't fill up the whole screen. So somebody has thought about that why center that, you know what I mean, when this is in landscape mode, it doesn't make any sense. We should put it over off to one side. So I'm kind of upset with them on that front. Let me switch over to this Apex launcher. The built-in launcher doesn't work in Portrait right now in this hacked version, which this is, by the way, a hacked version. In Portrait, though, they put the shade right down the middle. You can see all my finger stuff or whatever. So this is a lot more like a phone, but on the phone, it fills up the entire screen. There's no gaps from edge to edge. On the tablet, they put gaps in on the sides. Looks kind of like the iOS shade, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like on an iPad where they just got it floating there in the middle or whatever. It's kind of ridiculous, I think. If you're doing it like this, just fill it up, but whatever. But this is great. I mean, this having these buttons down here in the middle in portrait mode, which is how they're trying to market the Nexus tablet. They're trying to market the Nexus tablet like this in portrait mode. and not in landscape. Up until this point, all the Android tablets have been pushed as landscape devices. So I don't know. I don't think there's enough brand like penetration out there where people are gonna turn on Google for doing this. In fact, it'll probably end up working in their favor because people are used to seeing an iPad in portrait mode, and so they're gonna think, okay, this is a little bit more like an iPad than I thought, and maybe they'll try it out. Unfortunately, that's the way kind of things have to go. So let's see. The one thing I've seen here though between a phone and a tablet on the interface, when you pull down the notification shade, there's an orientation lock on the tablet and there isn't one on the phone. So I don't know. My tablet has an orientation lock button on the outside. Didn't really need it, but it's there anyway. So I don't know what would be better than this. If I'm going to complain about it, why not come up with something better? Well, I think that when you're talking about the portrait mode right here, this is perfect. This is great. I like actually having this phone interface because specifically the buttons on the bottom are centered. I think that it just makes more sense. But I think that when you go into landscape mode like this, this just doesn't stand. It doesn't stand up. You need a switch to like the larger tablet interface, which for devices larger than 7 inches, I don't know exactly what the line is. It's still going to be the same. The ice cream sandwich stuff is going to be moved over to this side. Not the ice cream sandwich, the soft buttons on JellyBean are going to be over here on the side, and the app, the notification drawer is going to be down here on the bottom. But I think that in landscape mode, it should just automatically switch. When you have it in portrait, sure, the phone setting is fine, but landscape, that's just horrible. I mean, reaching clear over here, even with 7 inches, you think it might be small enough, but no, I don't know. Let's see. The other thing is, I guess the last part I wanted to bring up on here. Everything has been great. I'm really excited for the platform, but when I try to install YouTube on the 7-inch device, it says that it's not compatible with this device, YouTube. So all my other Google apps worked fine, but YouTube doesn't work on here. Now, Dave and I talked about this before many shows ago. The problem with the YouTube app, it's been designed for these 10.1-inch screens perfectly. It works great. But as soon as I opened it on Honeycomb on this device, it was very clear that everything was scrunched up. It wasn't supposed to be this way. You couldn't see certain things. You couldn't even scroll to see the rest of the information. So there's obviously been some sort of limitation, and they just let it go. But on this latest update, I don't know what it is, if they've been able to single something out or whatever. But when I tried to install it, these 7-inch screens are not listed as compatible. Hopefully that means they're coming out with a new version of YouTube that we just don't know about yet, or I don't know what the heck the magic is. But the point I'd like to make is that if Google has messed up on this, if Google can't keep it together with the different screen sizes and everything in the new versions of the operating system, how do they expect developers to keep up on it? It's kind of crazy. YouTube works one day, and then it works on this just fine if I use ice cream sandwich. But as soon as I update to JellyBean 4.1, YouTube doesn't work at all. So it doesn't even install. It's crazy. So, and you're embarrassing me in front of Dave.
Oh yeah.
The iOS stuff just works, and yeah, it's an embarrassment.
It is.
So, but I think that's everything that I wanted to cover.
Cool.
For ice cream sandwich.
Pretty sweet.
So, we'll have some app reviews and stuff next week, right, Dave?
Yeah.
And I don't know. We can give a little bit of the rundown, right? If you want some more of these shows, or you want to find out more information about us and the things we do on here, go to theandroidappshow.com. Also, don't forget to click on the download our app button. That's right.
Yep.
There's Dave. Click on the download our app button, because we have an Android app now that works on phones, tablets, Google TV. You can watch all this content. You can read all the show notes. You can click on all the links. You can install stuff directly on your device that that you're using to watch the show. Then you can click on the link to install the app that you just saw. It's amazing, people. But beyond that, we have Facebook,
Yeah.
We have Twitters.
Let us know if you like this new or the new app display setup thing here we're trying out. We're trying a little bit of a different approach. Don't know if it works yet.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
I think we need more cameras.
I know we need to place cameras in weird spots like this just so that we can impromptu change
I love
camera
the shot
5.
though.
Well, we're gonna need more inputs.
Yeah.
More cameras.
Yeah. We'll just do we'll do crazy camera setups for different shows.
Mm-hmm.
Just mix it up.
Floating camera.
Or get him to produce and then somehow get a long cable to work and then I'll handhold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no hand holding here, man. We're all grown ups.
No hand holding. Not your girlfriend.
I don't know if the mic doesn't the mic catch that.
Oh yeah.
Good. That mic's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for watching the show, and we'll be back next week. There I am. I'm little. Look at how little I am. Yeah.
It's a habit.
We'll see you guys later.
Florensis, right?
And there's even a fade to black button that says BLK.
Boom.